The best movie of the year has maybe come out this past week. Avatar: Fire and Ash. We gotta talk about it. Buckle up, lock in, as we dive just a little bit deeper. Let's get into the very first positive of this movie that we all knew was gonna be a positive. This movie looks fantastic. Every scene just looks like the most pleasing thing your eyes can ever see. I've been to the theaters thousands of times now. This is the most appealing thing I've ever seen, period. It's my first Avatar movie I got to see in theaters, so that may benefit it a little bit. But I will say, certain aspects of it look almost too good, to where it doesn't even feel like I'm watching a movie. It feels like I'm watching a video game cutscene or something. It just is insane. And how they did that in 2009, I don't know. But hey, they cooked. James Cameron, the man you are, you did a great job with visually everything. And like I said, there was times where it almost looked too good, where I kind of sat there and I was like, what the hell? Like, what is going on? Because I was like, and it kind of took me out because it looked too good. Which is super silly and super dumb, but hey, oh well. Now, there's 1,000 positives about this movie, which is why we're gonna save them to the end. Let me get the bad stuff out of the way first, so we can move the pile of shit to the side, and we can be happy, all right? Because there are some negatives, and there are some bad things. This movie is not perfect, and it isn't my favorite movie of the year, but it is up there. Now, my biggest negative is Spider, right? I already didn't like Spider in Way of Water because of how it ends and what his character does, right? Now, this whole movie is like a build-up with Loak, who is my favorite character. I love everything about his arc. I love everything about what he goes through and how he goes through everything. He's amazing, and we'll get to that later, right? But Spider, specifically, okay? His whole thing where it's kind of switches from a Loak to a Spider father story halfway through. The Loak part is just more entertaining. The Spider part's not bad. It's the one we had before was way better. You know what I'm trying to say? They basically made Spider the most important character in all of Pandora and all of Avatar, period, with now being the first human who can breathe air, right? And that going on from him dying from Kiri and Awa saving his life, praying to help him be able to breathe that air. You've made him the most important thing, and I hate that because I don't really like Spider that. And then Spider being the main guy also, to me, takes away certain aspects that I wanted to see in the final battle with Jake and his son, or Jake and other people. I didn't want to see this whole thing be based around the Colonel Quaritch, and Jake Sully fighting over a kid. I just didn't really find that entertaining, and it's kind of the same thing in Way of Water, and it's just reused shit that's not as entertaining this time around, you know? And the movie, of course, ends with him finally being accepted, making him probably the main character of the next one, which I'm not gonna find entertaining because, like I said, Spider just isn't up there for favorite characters, and I hated him before this movie. I do like him more now, but if they would have done something crazy for Loak, I think that would have pushed this movie beyond it. It could have been my favorite of the year, or better than what it is. And then on top of that, you have Spider and Kiri having a romantic relationship as step siblings, adopted siblings. They both call Jake Sully dad in this movie multiple times. So that's a little weird. Not, to state that Kiri is played by a 60-year-old woman who I didn't know she was still playing Kiri. I thought it was some younger person, which, I guess you could say is weird, but, her voice can throw you off sometimes. She doesn't sound like a teenage girl, which she probably is in this movie. She sounds like a 60-year-old woman. Simple as that. And if you really, really think about it, that can throw you off. That is a small little nitpick, though. It's not something crazy. It doesn't take away from the story or nothing, but it's just something I had to point out. And then not only do they fight over Spider from the last hour and a half of this movie, it kind of doesn't end, right? Like, Commander Quaritch is not dead, because if he was dead, you would have seen a body, you would have seen him die. So obviously, in Avatar 4, he is still going to be an antagonist, which I'm already tired of, right? Not only that, but Varang, who is the leader of the Ash Clan, she doesn't die, she runs away, so it's going to be a reuse of her probably, unless you introduce a new clan. So Avatar 4 will probably be almost identical to Avatar Fire and Ash, which Fire and Ash is identical to Way of Water, and Way of Water is identical to Avatar. It's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? We're just reusing the same stuff, and we're reusing the same everything, really. Which is also a negative in this movie. It's called Fire and Ash, and we get the Ash biome for 5 minutes. We barely see it. We see it when Commander Quaritch walks over there to try to introduce himself and work with them. It's the only time we get to see we get to live in the water biome with the water people. We do not get to see any of the Ash people's biome. We see a little bit of their culture in the forest with their dancing and all that stuff, but outside of that, you don't really get to know much about the Ash people, and I loved them so much that I wanted to see more of. And then if you do that in the fourth one, it's like, okay, you should have done it in the last one. I don't want it now. Give me something new. I don't know. It's this big go around where it's like, okay, like, where do you go from here? And yes, at the end of the day, it's an Avatar movie, so of course it's going to be the exact same as the other two. You reuse story plots, you reuse, you know, certain shots and locations and all that, and it's like, am I a little tired of it? Yes, but I just love the characters so much that I can look past that and be like, hey, it's Jake Sully, it's Neytiri, it's Loak, it's all these people that I love so much. It's Kiri, it's all of them that I can kind of look past. Hey, it's the same shit as the last one. Not only it's a to a T. They end the same way, you know? And so that's a huge negative of mine. I can't stand the way this movie ends. I wish there's so many different routes you could have went with the Avatar ending. Shoot, kill Jake Sully for all I care. It's the same shit over and over again with this final battle ending, right? Where no one really loses, no one really wins, and then they all just go their separate ways for 3 months, and then, oh shoot, Sky people are back. We gotta refight everything and see the same stuff over and over again. It's annoying. Like I said, same formula, but I love the characters and I love the visuals and I love everything about it that I still adore. It had so much fun with this movie. Now let's dig into some positives because I want to end it off with that. Loak is amazing. I love his whole arc. You get him narrating certain aspects of this movie. You see his character go on. I mean, he's dealing with so many mental and physical things of him losing his real brother, and you see that in the beginning of the movie, and then losing his sea brother, right? And him getting banished from the tribe and then having to go out there to find him because it's the only person who's really been there for him almost since his brother died, period. And him being like, dang, the one person that was there for me, y'all got rid of. I cannot be here no more. I have to go. And he tries to take his own life and gets stopped from doing so. And I think that's so like inspiring to see someone dealing with those things that real people deal with in real life, overcoming it, still doing what's right, becoming stronger for it, and ultimately leading to him doing great things and, you know, rebuilding the relationship with his father, Jake. Now, the Ash people, boy, do I got a lot of positives and a lot of hard-ons from you guys. Varang specifically, if you could just walk through this door, with that little strut you got going on, you could take my soul. You know, you offered courages, you can have mine. You know what I'm saying? Connect me, dog. That was you and the matter of fact, the biggest positive of this movie, Varang and Neytiri, and for big reasons. Okay, they are the baddest people ever, and I was always an Avatar blue people hater. Like, I was like, what do y'all see in these movies? And then I watched them, and I was like, women, yeah, they're gorgeous. Yeah, they are fantastic. I would live in Pandora forever, probably. Like, I get it, Jake. I get it. I would have been a traitor to all y'all motherfuckers anyways. You know? Should I get it, Commander? She's talking about she feed me crack and then goes, let me dig into your soul, brother. Tie me down. Yeah, no, Varang, she's dope. And she gets her moments too to shine, especially with her fighting Neytiri. She kind of owns Neytiri the whole movie, which I also liked and didn't like, but hey, she's hot as fuck. And I mean, respectfully. Let's put it like that, respect. And yeah, there is a bunch of action sequences in this movie. You knew we were gonna get some peaks. With the, I forget what they're called, the traitor people. That whole battle is cool. I mean, you see everyone get split up, and then that leads into kind of having to break out your kids from the holdings of the Ash people, which was dope. And you're kind of having to work with Commander Courage. And then, of course, he leaves, and then you're fighting him again. But it's this whole thing back and forth. Y'all fight, y'all have friends, y'all fight, y'all have friends. And I will say, Commander Courage had a lot of positives. I love the actor who plays him. He does a fantastic job. And I think he's the only funny part of this movie. And he does a great job because it's so subtle. It's so like, here, you know what I'm trying to say? And it's like, it doesn't take you out of the movie how some movies will have a comedy that's so forced. This just feels natural. And he does a great job, Mr. Courage. Congrats. I also love the scene where Neytiri is breaking out Jake Sully from the jail. And she gets help from, of course, Spider, who is then threatened to lose his life afterwards. But hey, who cares? Neytiri is a badass. You see her put on the whole Ash people thing and wear the Sky people badge to kind of get in there, and then she starts using actual military bombs, which she said she didn't want to do before, to destroy things, and it worked in her favor because she caused destruction, my boy. And for some reason in the trailer of Avatar Fire and Ash, I thought they took the avatars back to Earth. I was tripping. I did not want that to happen, and I'm glad it didn't. It was just like the Sky people base. But look, this movie has so many positives, and I want everyone to just go see it. Now, let me tell you right now, okay? Here's my Avatar rankings. Avatar Way of Water is by far the best. By far the best. I'd give it it's like a 9 to a 9.5. Avatar Fire and Ash is probably like a 9 to an 8.5, maybe like a 9.2. and then Avatar, the first one's probably like an 8.5, right? So this is, I mean, this is a damn good trilogy. It's really good. It's just like, if it was any other, you know, characters or people, I would hate it because of how it is the same stuff over and over again. It's just that I love Jake and Neytiri and all these people so much that I can kind of look past that. So that being said, I love this movie. Y'all go check it out. Do yourself the favor. And I'm gonna go see SpongeBob tomorrow, and we'll see how they compare.